Keith Olbermann, quite possibly the biggest blowhard on planet Earth, made a video about immigration. In it, he attempts to justify why illegal immigrants should be allowed to stay in the US, because according to him, only illegal immigrants have the willpower to do jobs like janitorial work or farm work. And he's full of shit. He refers to the case of Guadalupe Garcia de Reyes, who illegally crossed the border from Mexico to Arizona in 1995 and had been living in the United States for 22 years.
The mother of 2 Americans, teenagers. She's been living here since she was 14. She checked in annually for 8 years with her immigration officer, just as they told her to, each time receiving work authorization, until last week when she checked in with them and they seized her and drove her to Mexico.
Why was she checking in with ICE every year for the past 8 years? Why was she deported? Because she got caught breaking the law.
When she was originally arrested, she was part of the cleaning crew at an Arizona water park.
Guadalupe Garcia de Reyes was arrested because she was using stolen Social Security and resident alien card numbers. She was convicted of criminal impersonation, which is a Class 6 felony. As a result, Garcia de Reyes was sent to jail and detention for 3 months. And in 2013, an immigration court ordered that she be sent back to Mexico. However, federal authorities didn't act on the deportation order, and she was even given authorization to work for the past 8 years.
For whatever reason, Donald Trump thinks expelling people who will uncomplainingly do the jobs that people who were born here often do not want to do is somehow to his credit and is somehow to this nation's benefit.
If she was arrested in 2008 and the deportation order to send her back to Mexico was in 2013, her arrest, conviction, and deportation order predates Trump's presidency.
The whole history of this country is predicated on people who came here, like Friedrich Trump and like Friedrich Olbermann, who uncomplainingly did the jobs that people who had been born here would not do.
Keith Olbermann's great-great-grandfather was a blacksmith. President Trump's grandfather was a barber and an operator of restaurants and hotels. Is Keith Olbermann really saying that no one born in the US would want to own and operate a hotel or restaurant? Or be a barber or a blacksmith? Seriously?
Trump advisor Stephen Miller, the one with the dead eyes, shifting side to side as if the eyes themselves were rebelling against his racism and deception.
Olbermann is referring to when Stephen Miller appeared on several Sunday morning news shows, clearly reading talking points off of a cue card. Admittedly, not a good look.
And the important point is that we're inheriting a situation around the world that is as challenging as any we've ever seen in our lives.
Insisting on television that, quote, before a job is given to a foreign national, that job is offered first to an American worker.
Before a job is given to a foreign national, that job is offered first to an American worker, either a legal permanent resident or a U.S. citizen.
Regardless of how he's saying it, it's what he's saying that matters. For example, the H-2A visa program very much requires that before a job is offered to non-residents, an employer must prove that they can't fill the positions with U.S. citizens. Stephen Miller is referring to laws and policies that have been in effect for years. Again, predating Trump.
Because they're going to be overwhelmed at that Arizona water park with American workers who want the job for minimum wage of cleaning the shit from the toilet bowls.
According to court records, at the time of her arrest in 2008, Guadalupe Garcia de Reyes was making $9 an hour. That's $2.10 more than the minimum wage, and $9 more than she should have been making at all, since she wasn't authorized to work here.
If you kick every Latino out of this country, then who is going to be cleaning your toilet, Donald Trump?
Oh, that's no.
In the sense that, no. You know what I mean? Like, when I'm...
Because they're going to be overwhelmed at that Arizona water park with American workers who want the job for minimum wage of cleaning the shit from the toilet bowls.
2.3 million Americans hold jobs in the custodial field. 2.3 million Americans who do their work every day and do it proudly.
If I clean a toilet and you sit on that toilet, you can rest assured that's the cleanest toilet you will ever sit on.
2.3 million Americans who work to support themselves and their families. 2.3 million Americans who pay their taxes, and Keith Olbermann just insulted every single one of them.
Who is now expected to do Guadalupe Garcia de Reyes' job at that water park?
Then who is going to be cleaning your toilet, Donald Trump?
Or somebody else's job in the kitchen, or yet another's job in the crop fields on the farms? You are.
Keith Olbermann is saying that illegal immigrants are the only ones worthy of this type of work. Sure, they might be breaking the law, but keep them around because God forbid that an American has to scrub a toilet, touch a piece of fruit, or make you a fucking sandwich.
What happens to the food on your table when the people who harvest it aren't here anymore because you decided they didn't belong here anymore? That food rots in the field.
That fruit rots in the field.
See, the thing is, this throw the illegals purge has been done here before, in America, recently, and the results were disastrous. In 2011, the state of Georgia passed a bill called HB 87. A proud state representative from Peachtree City, Matt Ramsey, a co-author, said at the time the bill would give the police the right to demand immigration documents from anybody detained for any reason.
Anybody that says that either hasn't read the bill or is doing it for political purposes.
That was Georgia State Representative Matt Ramsey. Tell us what that part of the bill really says, Matt.
It's truly about a law enforcement officer being able to identify a criminal suspect, and if a criminal suspect is unable to identify themselves through a variety of means we've provided for in the bill, then an officer can use immigration status checks along with the myriad other tools available to them to identify that suspect has committed or is under investigation for committing a criminal offense.
Clearly Keith Olbermann didn't actually read the bill. Instead, getting the entirety of his information from a Forbes op-ed piece.
It would also, he said, punish those who hired or harbored undocumented Americans. Our goal is, said Representative Ramsey, to eliminate incentives for illegal aliens to cross into our state.
This is, in fact, part of the law, but Olbermann says it like it's a bad thing.
And how well it all worked. An estimated 425,000 undocumented Americans were employed in Georgia in 2010. But by the harvest time of 2011, at least 40% of the workers Georgia farmers needed were gone.
That means the law actually worked.
The Georgia-born unemployed whose jobs those, quote, illegals, unquote, had taken from them? They not only wanted no part of the back-breaking labor, those few who tried it were evidently not as good at it.
Farm work isn't for everybody, but Americans not able or wanting to do farm work is a myth. Agriculture is Georgia's #1 industry, and 1 out of 7 people in Georgia work in an agricultural-related job.
40% of the men and women who actually knew how to work the farms of Georgia and how to survive on minimal incomes suddenly vanished.
Keith Olbermann is saying that it should be okay for hardworking illegal immigrants to be taken advantage of and be paid next to nothing because they're used to it.
And as Representative Matt Ramsey and the others cheered, an estimated $140 million worth of Georgia produce rotted in the fields.
$140 million? That sure sounds like a lot, but let's do some math. According to USDA figures, the total value of principal crops in Georgia for 2011 was $3.25 billion, more than any previous year in the state's history. Factoring in the $140 million of rotting product, that means that only 4.12% of the total crop was lost.
Georgia's agricultural economy still has not fully recovered.
I do a lot of research for these videos, and I have found zero proof to back that up. What I did find was that 2012 was an even better year for total principal crops than in 2011, and was again the highest ever for the state.
And the results were disastrous.
This is my favorite part of the video.
Oh, and he's now former Representative Matt Ramsey.
He's former Representative Matt Ramsey because he didn't run again. Olbermann makes it sound like he was voted out of office because of HB 87. What a dishonest piece of shit.
Think instead of what it will do to your wallet when the ticket to the water park doubles in price because Guadalupe is not there to clean it for you.
The ticket to the water park is going to double! Yes, you heard it right. Keith Olbermann is trying to scare you by threatening that if illegal immigrants are sent back, that businesses will have to hire Americans who will want a fair wage and the cost will be passed down to the consumer. However, this makes no sense because the water park thought that Guadalupe Garcia de Reyes was authorized to work in this country and they were paying her a fair wage to begin with. So there's no reason to raise admission prices. See what I mean about this guy being full of shit? If you want to see my previous piece on Keith Olbermann, click here. And as always, thanks for watching. And if you haven't already, you should subscribe to my channel. And click that like button. And be sure to share this video with Keith Olbermann. I'm sure he'd love it.